Jerry Lord.
All right, what's going on, my people, and welcome to the Sn95 Power channel. So, man, I've been trying to get this Coyote swap out here in these streets running and enjoying it for almost about a month now, and the struggles have been real. And the crazy thing about it is I spent so much time in the software part of this Holley Terminator X that I overlooked one little simple thing that really kept me from out here enjoying the car in these streets. So let's talk about it. So before I get into this, let me say, if you are digging this Coyote swap, and what this Coyote swap is a Gen 1 F-150 motor with a 2020 GT500 Predator Supercharged on it. It's ran off a Holley Terminator X Max. I have a built 4R70W with a Circle D triple disc torque converter. I think the stall is like 3,600 RPM. What else? A Durali race transmission cooler, a B&M deep transmission pan, low car transmission dipstick, and that's key, so remember that. And 355 gear in the rear. Really nothing else outside of, you know, the average Coyote swap. I have stock exhaust on here right now, stock H-pipe, Flowmaster Super 44 mufflers. So let's start off with the real big thing that was happening with this car. So I take the car out and I'm trying to do some test drives. I'm trying to data log. I'm trying to work on this tune. The sweet thing about this Holley is they call it self-learning. And, you know, before I really experienced this, a lot of people would just like rag on the self-learning, like the tuners and stuff, like, oh yeah, the self-learning, it's not really self-learning. And that's true. You do have to tell it, you do have to input stuff, but the correction that the Holley can make, I have to say, is really on point. But let me get back to the story. So I have to data log. I have to get some data. I got to drive the car. I got to let the car learn. And the problem I was having is I would get the car out and it would hold first gear for way too long. I know this is a Coyote and these things rev to the moon, but I would get in the car, pull out, and it would hold first gear 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. I'm like, wow, that's not right. Pull back to the house. And this is when I really started digging into the Holley software. First thing I went to is the shift parameters. The nice thing about the Holley is so simple to make changes. Like with the stock ECU, it's like scalars and functions and layers above stuff that's on top of stuff that's connected to stuff that you have to make changes to. The Holley is really just one page or one tab. And what I did is I corrected the shift is based off of throttle position. So I changed the miles per hour based off of throttle position, you know, try to tighten everything up. Took the car back out and I had it where it would shift to third gear before I would even hit 20 miles per hour. Took it out, bang, bang, bang. Fine, that's great. So I'm like, all right, cool. Redo the shift parameters to something normal that I would, you know, consider drivable. It holds first gear again. I'm like, gosh, what the heck is going on? Just inconsistent. So I'm just like, all right, I just got to roll with it for right now. You know, it's inconsistent. Sometimes it'll hold for a very long time and then it will shift. Sometimes it would not shift. I pull over, put the car in park, put it back in drive, then it would shift. So it's just really inconsistent. But that was the song and dance I was doing at first. But the other thing that was happening is whenever it would do the 2-3 shift, I would get this clunking noise from the rear of the rear of the car. And so I'm just like, oh man, you know, Is it my transmission that's messing up? It's not shifting out of first gear consistently, and I'm getting this clunking sound going into third. But I'm able to drive the car. I'm able to get some data, so I continue on, and I started hearing this noise from the front passenger side wheel area, like another clucking noise. I was like, man, I can't win for losing. So first thing I do is try to isolate where this mechanical or software related. So I dig into the mechanical part of it. First thing I do is I check my transmission mount, make sure my transmission mount is tight. I check the torque converter bolts, make sure the torque converter bolts are fine. Flex plate, anything that I can torque related to the drivetrain, I do. Take it back out, same thing, clunking in third gear. I still have that popping noise on the front passenger side. So I'm like, all right, it's not that part of the drivetrain. Engine to transmission. So let me go back a little bit further. So I have a aluminum Ford Racing drive shaft in the car, and I still have a stock one. I had the stock one balanced and rebuilt. They have Spicer U-joints in it. The Ford Racing U-joints aren't the best. They're not good like the Spicer one. So I'm like, okay, well, I know my stock drive shaft is good because I just had it rebuilt. So, sorry, y'all. Let me just gotta make sure I'm recording this. So I swap them. The rear U-joint on the Ford Racing aluminum one is a little stiff, but I wouldn't call it damaged. Swap the drive shaft, same issue. Still have that clunking noise. So I'm like, all right, it's not bell housing to bell housing to motor. It's not drive shaft to rear end. So maybe it could be the pinion angle. I don't know. So I shift focus because it's not stopping me from driving the car. It's just annoying. So I shift the focus to the front of the car. And, you know, my previous videos, I talked about clearance for the oil filter housing. And I'm thinking, okay, well, that tapping noise that's on this passenger side, it's got to deal or do something with the sway bar tapping the oil filter housing. So I just totally removed the sway bar. Take the car out, it's still making that tapping noise on that side. So I'm like, man, it's killing me. So my man Patrick Mod Addicts, he chimed in and made a couple of suggestions, and that really had me take the wheel off and start going over some stuff with the wheel. First thing, you know, of course, just make sure everything is torqued down. I made sure the wheel bearing bolt was nice and torqued. Same issue. Then I thought about this, and this was a flashback from when I first did this build. When I first put the tubular control arms on, I was having the same tapping sound. So in order to get that tapping sound away, only thing I had to do was grease the ball joint. Sure enough, I greased the ball joint, tapping sound goes away. On top of that, the ATS caliper clip, retaining clip, was on backwards. So I believe it was the ball joint. It's like I said, I've had that happen before. So I get rid of the tapping sound up front, still have the tapping sound in the rear. All the mechanical stuff that I can think of is done. So it's time to dig into the Holley software. And this is where I spent days upon days just changing stuff, trying to get this thing to shift correct. Sorry. It's summertime, hot outside, had the garage door open, all kind of flies in this garage now. It's driving me nuts. So I get into the Holley software and I just really start playing with line pressure. 1-2 line pressures. I put the car in reverse or drive. It's like it's a jolt when I do that. So I'm like, all right, line pressure. Let me play this line pressure and get that straight. Let me just get the reverse and the one engagement straight. Can't do it. No matter how much I change that line pressure, because the way it's set up in the Holley right now, all the line pressures first through fourth are set the same. I know third gear is engaging that direct drum. It takes a little bit more pressure. and eventually I'll get to that. So I can't get the one engagement softer. I can't get the reverse engagement softer. It's inconsistent because sometimes it'll be a soft engagement, sometimes it won't. So, all right, well, I'm like, let me just concentrate on this third gear. So I started playing with the line pressures with the third gear. And like I said, it's duty cycle based. So the less duty cycle, the higher the pressure on the Holley software. So I play around with this and I take it out for like 2 days, just adjusting the line pressure almost 1% at a time. Nothing works. And I'm driving myself crazy. And on top of that, the transmission is still, the 1-2 shift is still cattywampus. And I'm just going crazy. So I just happened to just look at this data log one time and pull up some of the transmission parameters. And I noticed the range position sensor being at 0 as I'm commanding the car to be in second gear. And that caught my eye. And as soon as I saw that, I knew exactly what was going on. The multiple lever position sensor, or MLPS, safety neutral switch, some people call it. Like, you have to line that thing up properly so the ECU would know what gear it's in when the shift pressures. It's a very important piece outside of, you know, not allowing your car to start in gear or something like that. So it has a lot to do with shift parameters and line pressure. So as soon as I noticed that, I take the car out, and when it's in a situation where I have the car in drive and it's reading a 0, because how it works is, if it's in park, I believe it's -2. If it's in reverse, it's -1. Neutral is 0. It's a 4-speed transmission. So you put it in drive. If you have the overdrive enabled, it reads a 4. You turn overdrive off, it reads a 3. You shift it manually into 2 second, it reads a 2. Shift it all the way down to 1, it reads a 1. That's how it works. And so I take the car out, I put in drive, it's 0. So I shift it into 2. It's like a slight delay, but then it shows a 2. So I'm like, all right, it's reading. I shift it back into drive, it reads a 4. So I'm like, oh yeah, it's the alignment of the MLPS. I don't want to say manual lever position sensor 5,000 times, so MLPS. So I get that lined up as best as I could. It's kind of hard because I have the stock H-pipe with stock cats on there, so it's kind of hard to see. But it's still inconsistent, but I know if it's not shifting, just throw it into second, throw it back into drive, and it works. So I've got consistent shifting now, but the shifts aren't smooth. They're still a little rough. So this is where the low car dipstick comes in, and something else too. So I had the car on a level ground in park, and I've been checking the dipstick, and it reads in between high and low. Doing some research, you're actually supposed to check these transmissions in neutral, and you don't have to. But in my case, I have all these extra components, and I have a lot more volume for fluid. So the difference between park, checking in park, and neutral is this. You check it in neutral, it circulates fluid through the pump, it circulates fluid through the torque converter, and it circulates fluid through some of the cooling lines. So with all that extra capacity, when the car is in park, it's not circulating anything, and all the fluid is sitting at the bottom of the pan. It's going to read higher. If I put it in neutral, that fluid is circulating and is giving me a true reading of what the fluid level is when the car is actually requesting fluid. So I check it in neutral, and the dipstick is reading nothing. It's like dry. So I ended up adding more fluid, and that solved the harshness of the shifts in the transmission. It didn't solve the third gear clunk, but I have to say, this transmission is silky smooth right now. And I actually feel like it shifts better with the Holley than it did the stock ECU. And I'm really just playing around with the pressures and the shift levers, the shift, I guess, percentage. That's what they go by, percentages. With the Holley. So it's still a lot of refining to go, but it's real silky smooth. I actually love the way this thing shifts now outside of the third gear clunk. So I figure out the clunking from the front passenger wheel. I figure out why the car would not shift out of first. I figure out why the shift engagements are so hard. But the only problem is I'm still stuck at trying to figure out what this third gear, this 2 to 3 shift clunking is. I'm at the point now where I think it's pinion angle. If y'all have any ideas, leave it down in the comments. But yeah, right now, the way the car is, and here's the thing about the third gear. At light throttle, it only gives me that clunking sound. Under load, no clunking sound. So that's why I think it's, you know, suspension related. Because under load, you know, the suspension is going to move more as opposed to me just riding around the subdivision. So a couple things I can do. I can raise the tail of the transmission with a higher motor mount. See if that'd be the easiest thing to do, and see if that helps with that clunky noise. Or I can just buy some rear upper control arms that's adjustable and play with the pinion angle that way. But yeah, the car is doing good. Other last little thing I have left, you know, I did the home alignment, which isn't like the greatest. So I do have some vibration above 50 miles per hour. I need to get to Thalmans to get that taken care of. So I'm really taking it easy as far as pushing on the car. But going back to the Holley and how easy this thing is to tune, my fuel is almost dialed in. I've hit like 6 PSI at 4,000 RPM. That's really nothing for this Coyote. And let me just drop this on y'all real quick. The 6 pounds, 4,000 RPM on this setup is nowhere near as fun as 6 pounds, 4,000 RPM as a small block forward. We'll get into that on another video. But yeah, right now, so I'm just out here getting data, trying to fine tune this car. So let me give y'all some action. You know, I'm not going to go crazy as far as laying into this car because I still have that third gear clunk and I really don't know what it is. So I don't want to break anything. But yeah, let's go for a quick ride. See, there's that shift I'm talking about. So I put it back and forward. Now it's reading the correct position. I have the overdrive off. It's showing position. That sounded horrible. I don't know what that was. A boost. That can't be correct. I mean, I do have a free-flowing exhaust. But the good thing is the Holley is doing what it's supposed to do. It's cutting fuel and everything. This is saying I hit 16 pounds of boost, which is hard for me to believe. All right, so we out here and like the strangest thing is happening. I have a new H pipe on here. And according to my Holley, I hope my boost bypass is working. I hope I have that wired correctly, but according to my Holley, I'm hitting like 16, 20 pounds of boost, which is no way that's correct. I have a 3.4 pulley on this thing. There's no way I should be getting that much boost. I wonder how it sounds like under load. That's like the big thing for me, is how does it sound under load? But yeah, this is the fruit of my hard work. A nice Coyote swap with a Predator Supercharger. This is the first time I've had this issue where the boost would spike. Yeah, that's a 3/4 pulley. Only thing I can think of is this boost bypass not actuating. Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that's not going to get me under boost doing that. Oh yeah, let me record this exhaust. What y'all think about that? I hard for me to tell, but it sounded good. I can't believe that we are getting that much boost. Yeah, boost. Boost bypass must not be working. No, it can't be boost bypass. Boost bypass is only when I'm letting off of it, right? Tell me if I'm wrong with that. Like, I swear, the only thing that I've changed is my H pipe, and it's saying maybe it's tire spin. I don't know. Third gear. Let me see what's going on here, y'all. Transfer this to base. No. Don't want to smooth it. Check my plugs. I'm pretty sure these plugs are like fouled out. Look how much fuel it just wants to remove right now. This is crazy. I mean, it is a free-flowing exhaust. It's just got too much fuel. That's the problem. pretty sure my spark plugs are pitch black right now. Because it's really commanding a lot of well, the actual air fuel is like in the 9s. Noise I don't like either. It's RPM dependent. All right, sorry for all the background noise. Let's close this video out. I want to show you what I found about some of the issues that I had with the drivability. First things first, I mentioned this in the video about the spark plugs being fouled, and yeah, they're shot, all of them. And I pulled these out once before and took a look at them. They weren't this bad, but now that I'm like getting into boost and the car was really overfueling, it just took these spark plugs out. So that's why I was bogging. On top of it, you know, reading super rich. So man, there's one thing I miss about these small block Fords. Autolite 103s were like $2 each. These damn things, $13 a piece. So there is a way that you can unfoul these, and I kind of did that on this one right here. I'll leave that for another video. The other thing, the little noise that I was hearing was that connector right there. It fell off the little mount that I had, and it was just rubbing up against the tire. So we'll use a metal tie strap this time and get that connected. But I want to show you underneath the car what I'm about to do. So I talked about pinion angles, and one thing I can try to do to adjust the pinion, this is the new, by the way, catted H-pipe setup, and this is why I was getting such an increase in boost. I went from the stock H-pipe to this. Not happy with the sound of these Flowmasters. I'm going to show you before I end this video what I'm going to do next. But let's see if I can get this in frame. I'm going to, this is a Stifler's dry shaft safety loop. I already took the bolts out the transmission mount. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jack up on the tail of the transmission, shim in between the mount and this cross member, and that will raise the tail of the transmission up a little bit, and it should change the pinion angle in the rear. If that doesn't work, then I just got to get some adjustable rear control arms. And I think my bushings are actually shot in the differential housing. Oh, the other thing with this Ride Tech coilover, this castle nut will hit this aluminum housing on this coilover right here. So as you can see, I had to really beat this up to try to make some room for that castle nut to clear. Because what was happening, I was getting a clicking noise, and the clicking noise was just that castle nut or the stud for the ball joint hitting the coilover housing. And, you know, in the video I talked about greasing the ball joint. Once I greased it, that tapping noise went away on that side. Yeah, so to try to help this sound of this Coyote motor, to get it to kind of what I like, I really don't like the way it sounds right now with those Super 44s back there. Plus, those Super 44 chambered mufflers are restrictive. So my man Keith put me on to these. He's got this on his Whippled F-150. And there was this video of this Mach 1 that had these on here. Also, Lucifer GT, I believe, has these on his black Sn95. I like the way they sound. They're kind of quiet at idle, but they are like a flow-through design at load. So we're gonna play around with this. But besides that, yeah, I'm going to go and try to work on this pinion angle, and we'll start pumping some videos out. So hey, if you appreciate this content, first of all, hit the subscription button, hit the bell notification, because the car is drivable now, so I'm going to start pumping out some content. Also, do me a solid, tell a couple of people about the channel. I appreciate y'all. So until next time, may God bless you.